Hi guys, welcome to another short video of our Marine Technical Training Academy. Today we are going to learn the procedure to reverse the rotation in a three-phase motor using contactors. With contactors you can change the rotation right side or left side in an induction motor three-phase AC motor. What is the procedure to reverse rotation in a three-phase motor? Basically, you need to switch two phases. Suppose that you have three phases, A, B, and C. You can switch A with B, or B with C, or A with C. Doesn't matter. You switch two phases, and immediately the motor reverses the rotation. How can you do that during the operation of the motor? It's simple. You can use contactors. The only way to reverse rotation in a three-phase AC induction motors is with contactors. And right now, I am going to explain what is the meaning of contactors. Three-phase reverse rotation. The properly way to reverse rotation in a three-phase motor is by means of contactors. The contactor is basically a breaker, the three-phase breakers, with a couple of inputs for the signal. The signal should be AC or DC. For example, this is not properly a contactor, but it's exactly the same. It's a breaker, a three-phase breaker, with two inputs on the side for the signal. What is the function of the signal? Open and close the breaker. Open and close the breaker. Where is coming that signal? It's a remote signal. That signal, once again, is coming from the flybridge, from the pilot helm, and that signal could be DC signal or AC signal, low current signals. A contactor is a remotely activated breaker. The remote activation could be a low current AC or DC signal. The signal enter here, AC or DC, and those are the three phases. And the rest is a typical breaker. How can we install those contactors? How is the wiring to connect a three-phase motor with the contactors in order to reverse the rotation? I have an schematic that I prepared for use. In this schematic, if you check the schematic, I have the main breaker. That's the main breaker that you have in your AC panel. And this is the AC power. The AC power is coming from the source of the power, three phases. And this is the output of the main breaker. The output of the main breaker enter in a couple of contactors. I have two contactors here, three inputs, three outputs, three inputs, three outputs. Okay, the first contactor is for clockwise rotation, and the second contactor probably for counterclock. Okay, the first contactor have three inputs, black, red, and blue. The black one, the first position of the first contactor is connected with the first position of the second contactor. Black with black in first position. The second one, the red one, in the first contactor goes into the third one in the second contactor. And the third one in the first contactor go into the second one in the second contactor. That's the switch. I am going to switch the phase 2 and the phase 3 in the second contactor. Okay, and the output is exactly the same. 1 with 1, 2 with 2, and 3 with 3. And the phase number 1 is the black one. The phase number 2 should be the red one. And the phase number 3 is the blue one. Those are the phases that enter in the motor in order to reverse the rotation. And the signals. In this particular case, those contactors are DC remotely activated. Okay, the activation is DC. I have a couple of push buttons, normally open contactor, push buttons, and I am going to activate those contactors with a DC signal coming in DC signal. This is the positive bus bar of my DC panel, and that's the positive bus bar receives the power from the batteries. Okay, the positive enter in the middle in between both contactors, and from the output of the second contactor, I activate the contactor number 2, And from the output of the second push buttons, I activate the first contactor. When I press this button, I activate the clockwise contactor. When I press the second push buttons, I activate the counterclock contactor. This is the procedure to use contactors and push buttons. You can use normally open or normally closed buttons. It's simple with the normally open momentary push buttons. When I press this one, the motor rotates in one direction. When I press the second one, the motor rotates in the other direction. This is perfect for windlass. This is perfect for bow thrusters. And yes, I can replace those push buttons for a joystick. In one position, I send the signal for this contactor. In the other position, I send the signal for the other contactor. This is exactly the procedure to connect contactors in order to reverse rotation in AC motors, three-phase motors.
Distraction.
Okay, guys, pay attention. Suppose that, for example, in buildings, the contactors are with the AC activation, no DC. Because in a building you don't have DC circuits. Everything is AC. No, in the central control office where the elevators are administrated. All of those push buttons are with AC, not with DC. Mm-hmm. Okay. Suppose that those are the push buttons for up and down, but those activations are DC, not AC. Okay, and this is the AC panel. This is the AC panel. I have breakers, and I have the neutral bus bar. Yes or no? Okay, from the neutral bus bar, I bring power directly for neutral, and exactly the same here, directly from neutral. It's okay? And one of the breakers will be for contactors. This is the breaker for contactors. And with this breaker, I am going to feed my push button. And one push button will be here, and the other push button will be here. This is hotline. 120 AC. 120 AC. And this is neutral from the neutral bus bar. And this is neutral from the neutral bus bar. Okay, it's clear? Alright, when I press this button, I bring 120 here, close the contactor, and the motor spins clockwise. When I push this button, I bring the power here, close the contactor, and the motor spins counterclock. This is the division. This is hot. This is hot. 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 And hot. And this is neutral. That's clear? Yes or not?
Yeah.
Would it matter if it's hot 2 or 3, or does it matter if?
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
This is only the activation to open or close. With momentaries. There are momentary push buttons for AC current and momentary push button for DC current. There are momentary push button for I amps and momentary push button for 100 amps. No? This is a small signal, small, only to close the contactor or open the contactor. You like it? It's clear?
They don't start using AC until you're about a 50 foot, 60 foot boat, right?
More.
Like 60, 70, maybe 80.
100 and up. Everything.
I've seen them in smaller, but I know it's not normal.
What is the inconvenience for AC in a boat?
Generator.
So you need to have a generator.
You need a generator all the time. Running.
High voltage.
Running. In mega yachts, boats bigger than 80, they have 3 generators or 4 generators. Each generator runs
certain time.
6 hours every day.
they switch,
6
they
hours,
rotate.
6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, or 8, 8, 8.